how? Besides waking up morning and saying, you know what? How did you get into colon therapy?
Yeah, well, I wasn't drawing pictures of that when I was in kindergarten. I was drawing pictures of ballerinas, but here I am.
Hello, everyone. We were here with Cindy Fulsom at Vitality Flow. Uh, colon hydrotherapy. So, with that colon hydrotherapist, what do you?
Yeah, that's right. Colon
Oh,
hydrotherapist, certified colon hydrotherapist.
look at that. First of all, I like to sort of get into it, like how I've known you, and I was trying to go back to when's the first time I saw you, and I don't know if you remember the year, but I think we're going back to like 2013. Was it that far back? Because I,
It
I
would
was,
probably be, it would probably be that
because
far
you were
back.
at your first place.
Okay, yeah, I've mostly been on the west side. I
Yeah.
was West Hollywood at one point, but not for very long. Yeah, I've known you a long time.
Cindy, what was the first movie you ever saw in the theater, and does it still hold up?
Well, I had thought it was Star Wars, but it was not. It was actually Bambi, the Disney movie. And I don't, oh, really?
It was.
That's so funny. I don't remember anything about it except the scene where Bambi's mother and father die or parents die. And it was so traumatizing. Like, I remember as a kid, I just had this knot in my stomach for like weeks after seeing it. And even now, when I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, this is so traumatic. Poor Bambi. Like,
I know. And you're like, thanks, mom. Thanks. Yeah.
yeah, like what were they thinking to make it so dire? Like, I guess that's life and it's like, ripping the band-aid off, but
I guess so. I mean, that was my first movie too, and yeah, that scene stuck out. And one of the things I talked about with people is like, back then that was a whole different time. People would just take their kids to a movie. Like people are telling me their first movie was Coal Miner's Daughter,
oh my
or
God.
or I get all these sort of weird things, and it was just like Blue Lagoon, like
Oh
what,
wow.
yeah. So I'm like, parents back then were just like, you're gonna learn about death, love, you're firsthand. So I don't tell you about it. I don't know what it was, but yeah, no, it was. Do you? Well, have you seen it recently? Have you showed your
No,
child?
I no, I haven't shown it to my daughter. I haven't seen it recently at all. So, I mean, does it still hold up? I mean, I think it still packs that like deep emotional punch in that scene. It's probably entertaining,
Yeah.
I would imagine.
So that was the first movie your mom said, but what's the first movie you remember?
Yeah, I remember going to Star Wars with my
Okay.
dad, and it
Okay.
was like in Canada in the 70s, and people were literally like, had never been so hyped up about a movie before. And we were lined up around block after block after block. There was hundreds of people. And I just remember waiting for hours with my dad and then like feeling like, oh, I'm so mature. Like I'm allowed to see this movie, but my sister's not. And it was like the coolest thing ever, just like waiting there, me and my dad. And
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was like mind blowing at the time.
It was, and Star Wars was the thing that started something called like fandom, like where people start dressing up and
Oh yeah, that's
that
so
whole
true.
thing. Star Wars started it. Yeah, I read that somewhere. It started it. So that's what started the whole craze thing, because without Star Wars, I mean, where would Comic-Con be, or what would people do with their lives besides, dressing up as Darth Vader or
Yeah, it's true. And even I think it just like really affected our generation of kids play. Like I remember playing with my friends, all we wanted to play was Star Wars and reenact that.
even if you were a girl or a boy. I mean, because Leia was the first time, like you're like, no, she's pretty cool. She's pretty cool. Well, can I have some cinnamon buns? No.
Seriously, that I was obsessed with that too. I always wanted those buns.
You see, that's awesome. Okay, um, this one I wanted to ask you because I mean, I couldn't even imagine doing what you do. And I don't know, and we'll talk about this like if you just woke up one morning and said, I wanna, do this. But we'll get into that. But what's a skill you admire in others?
A skill I admire in others is probably I have a couple things. Like I have just like a hardcore skill like singing. That's just
Yeah.
something that I always really appreciate. I love someone who has a beautiful singing voice, and I always wish that I had that for myself.
That's
And I always had these dreams of singing with my daughter. Like when I was pregnant, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna like be singing all these songs in the car with my daughter. It's gonna be bonding. And like since the time she was 2, it was that like, Mom, can you stop that? It sounds really bad. It's funny how life doesn't turn out how you imagine it to
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, funny. Yeah. How? Besides waking up morning and saying, you know what? How did you get into colon therapy?
Yeah. So basically, for me, I had never heard of this. And what got me here probably is my own like suffering as a teen. Like I had really bad acne throughout my whole teen years. And I remember like the doctors were always like, just take an antibiotic, it'll go away, blah, blah, blah. And it did, and it always came back. And then I ended up taking like a hardcore acne medication that actually helped, but everyone always said, oh, it has nothing to do with diet. And I always suspected that it did. And the years went by, and I was actually living in a small town in Canada, where Shania Twain got her start. Actually, I was working as a singer and dancer in a Broadway style show. And so I had the days free. So I just would go in this little town to the health food store and like kind of look at their books. And I randomly just picked up this book, and it was called Tissue Cleansing Through Colon Management. And it was by a chiropractor, and he had done these cleanses with 3 different men, and he had pictures of like what their conditions were before, during, and after. And they all had skin conditions. Like one guy had acne, one guy had like a really bad eczema on his arm, and then another guy had like a diabetic ulcerated foot type of situation.
Wow. Mhm.
And he actually took pictures like day 1, day 4, day 7 of doing colonics, like really intense, good nutrition and some herbs. And he showed that like even by day 4, you could see the tissue clearing up and new tissue generating underneath. And his whole theory was basically like, if your sewage system is overflowing in a city, that you imagine how that is. It's the same thing in your body. If your colon is backed up and your sewage system is overflowing, all that toxicity is going around your bloodstream, is trying to get out of the body. And your skin is your largest organ. It will eventually come out the skin if it can't get out other ways. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, like I probably needed to do this in my teens. This makes so much sense. And they had this like do it yourself instruction in the book. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. Um, I'm like, I'm super jazzed about this, but hoses, buckets,
Ooh,
cleanup, no, thank you.
yeah,
And so it wasn't until, excuse me, 10 years later that when I moved to LA, I had thought about it and I was like really nervous to do it. Like it was at the time of the yellow pages. I'm like, I don't want to just like pick some random person and do this.
yeah.
And I had a friend at the time who was turning 60, and she one day was just like, I feel so much energy. I feel like I'm 14 years old again. And I was like, oh my God, like I want that. What are you doing? Tell me your secret. And she was really funny about it. She was like, don't tell my husband. It's my little beauty secret, but I'm doing colonics. And I was like, oh my God, I've wanted to do that for 10 years. And so I called up her lady, and I had like no idea how it all worked. I'm like, I'm really healthy. I eat vegetarian at the time. I do yoga, so I probably just need 1 session. And the lady actually laughed at me. She's like, you need to come for 3 sessions. And so I did that. And that was sort of the kickoff of me experiencing something really different in my body. Like I didn't know that I had brain fog until after I did the colonics. Like after the first colonic, I felt nothing. I was like, this doesn't work. I feel like ripped off. My friend got all the benefits. It doesn't work for me. And I hung in there and I did the 3 colonics and I ate the right foods the lady recommended. And by the third one, it was such a dramatic difference that I was like, this is incredible. Like I've never had such a clear mental process. And my skin was very radiant. People were commenting, what are you doing? And I just was, I'm a very curious person by nature. And I was like, this is like nothing I've ever tried before. And I was like, I need to know everything there is to know about this because I want to know what happened in my body, what caused this transformation. Why do I feel so completely reinvented? And so that led me on my journey. I was working in the mental health field. I wasn't planning to do this as a profession, but I did go and do the course for learning how to do this on the side, just as something for my own personal interest. And I even told myself, I said, there's no way I could ever do that as a profession. It just would freak me out or something. And the first day that I sat down in the course, I was like, oh my God, like this will help so many people and it can help so many people. And that was when something in my brain just shifted and I was like, I want to do this. I want to do a business of this. And I don't know how it will work out, but yeah, there was no looking back after that.
So how many years are you on doing
Oh my God,
it?
I've been like, this
How
is,
old
this
are you?
is,
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm 25. No. This is my 18th year doing
That's
this.
amazing. That's
Hmm.
Dude, I mean, um, we'll go on to the next question, but I do want to say for me, yeah, the first time it was like okay, but the one thing that stuck with me is for me to come back that it wasn't invasive. Like I didn't feel like I just went down,
Oh.
to a border town or something and figured out what the hell was going to happen. But it what like to be fair, you're like, okay, it's starting, I mean, the thing is, it's such a, the filling up of water was the thing that I've never experienced before, so that, and then you massage it, but then, I mean, it is, and I don't really say this for things that are good, I mean, I could talk about wine all day, but for this, it was like, amazing. Like, the second time I came out, I literally, and I'm sure it works differently for everybody because everybody's body is different, but I felt like I was walking on air. I felt like so light. And I just was, and that was the thing. And knock on wood. Well, I mean, I think I'm too old to get acne now, but who knows? Start tomorrow. I wake up like But I've always kind of had pretty good skin, so that was the thing. My stomach thing has always been a thing, always.
Mm.
And just the gut digestion. Then when I lost my gallbladder, that even I had to even take more care of myself and everything like that. But I loved it, and I just kept getting back, coming back, for more. But I did, and I didn't like test to see if I lost any inches or anything like that. That wasn't. It was more how it made me feel, and I
Mm.
just felt clearer. Yeah, clearer and lighter. Just yeah, it was like just like you just took the most amazing shit in the world. Like when you're done, like you're just like. you know and I'm sure everyone has taken the most amazing shit, so there you go. But I know a lot of people who will watch this have never tried it before, so how do you get the person out there to come in and try it, besides like sort of saying like someone like me getting all excited going, oh, you gotta try it. I mean, people is the most common thing, like the hose part, is that the most thing that they're most afraid of?
Yeah, the biggest fears are like, there's a tube going up where?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my gosh, that's going to be like so painful. It's going to be embarrassing. I could never do that. That's crazy. So yes, that is, I would say, the number one fear. I'll say this, it does not hurt at all. The tube is lubricated. The person puts it in. I help them with it. They're not going to do anything to their own body that is painful. And basically it just goes right in.
Yeah,
It's
oh,
not.
that's actually an important thing too. Yes, you do guide the person's hand. I mean, that's
Mhm, mhm.
but you do, the person is actually doing it. Yeah, that is actually important. That so they do it at their own pace. It's not like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and they can take as long as they need to take. They can take as short as they need to take. And that's the easy part. It's literally a split second, and then they are turned over onto their back in a more discreet position. So it's not embarrassing. It's not like there's eyes on their, parts
Yeah,
for more than a
yeah.
split
No.
second. Yeah.
No, you're covered. You're
You're covered
covered,
with a gown, you're lying on your back. Yeah.
and then the best part, okay, so the best part, you're there
Yeah,
with
I'm there
them.
the whole time.
Yep. The best part, ladies and gentlemen, is when the poop flies by. But anyway, we're gonna get to that. That's the best
That's the
part.
show.
I love that part. So what? So you're like, what do you just? How do you get someone to do it? What's your besides your charming self? How do you?
Yeah, I think what it is like it comes up a lot when people ask me, what do you do? Oh, what's that? I've never heard of that. Is that like a colonoscopy? And I just share with them, what it is and what the benefits are. I think the most enticing thing about this is the benefits. Nobody, comes to a colonic because they love the process. Of course, they do love to see the poop flying by. As you say, it's very gratifying because you're like, wow, there's crazy amounts of stuff inside my body that I had no idea about. But yeah, I basically just share with them like what the benefits are, a little bit about the process. And colon hydrotherapy will meet somebody where they're at. You're either ready to do it or you're not ready to do it. I had a client that waited 50 years to do it. He said he heard about it back when all the stars were doing it in Hollywood, Marilyn Monroe, and it was a well-known thing, but he said he was always afraid to do it. And he was in his 70s when he came, and after he did a few sessions, he's like, I wish I had done this when I was younger. He's like, I don't get winded when I walk up the stairs anymore. I have more energy. I'm sleeping better. So I think fear is the big thing that stops people. And I just tell people, like, do your research. That's going to take out the fear. Talk to somebody. And if you're really extremely anxious about it, but you want to do it, ask somebody if you can come and stop by their office and they can show you the equipment. They can walk you step by step through the whole process. And once that is demystified a little bit, I think people are a little bit more at ease. And the other thing I would say is do what you did, and that's get a friend's referral because you trust your friends, you trust your family. If they had a good experience with somebody they trust, I think that's a huge thing. But I would say, don't let the fear stop you because this is just something, it's so basic. It's like you get a shower every day to clean your body. You're eating all sorts of crap and drinking and putting all this stuff, Starbucks and things in your body, which is great. We have to have joie de vivre. But
Mhm.
there's also a time to give the body some relief from all the buildup and things that we're doing to it. And
Especially when you say like there's stuff that if you eat a lot of meat or a lot of cheese, it sticks in there, and then that's what the older stuff is harder to get out or whatever.
yeah, so we retain stuff for many reasons. A lot of it is because we're just eating a lot of ultra processed foods. And the other reason is we have so much stress. Like this is a very stressful time to be alive. I don't know anybody who comes in here and says, "Oh, I'm so relaxed. I don't know what to do with myself." Everyone's like, "I have 10,000 things on my task list. I have kids, I have a job, I have a career,
Mhm.
all these different things." So stress changes the way we digest. And I believe it's not so much what we're eating, is it's what we're digesting or not digesting. And if you're stressed all the time and in fight or flight, your digestive is not functioning to its 100% fullest potential. So therefore, you are not digesting fully. And when you don't digest fully, your food basically turns into toxic material in your body. And that's part of why you're starting to get the buildup is it didn't break down properly. And also the biggest thing I see, or one of the biggest things, is people are so dehydrated. They're eating so many dry foods. They're not eating very much water-rich foods, fruits, vegetables. And then on top of the ultra processed, you're getting dehydrated. So that stuff's just drying out and drying out. Like stuff that's in a box or a bag that has a shelf life, it has a shelf life in your colon as well. It's not just easily breaking down and feeding the healthy bacteria that makes you eliminate everything. And people don't realize that. And that's actually one of the most shocking things to people is when they see, like, we have this little viewer thing here where the poop goes by and we look at everything and we
Yeah,
observe it
yeah.
and we can tell, are you chewing your food? How gassy are you? But when they see that massive release of stuff coming out of their body, it's shocking and it's in a good way. Like it really improves the relationship between you and your colon because you're like, wow, I had no idea. Literally, I was walking around with pounds and pounds of poop inside of me, even though people are having a bowel movement every day that is just building up on the walls like a clay. And this process softens that and helps it to release. But
Mm.
when people see that, you can't ever unsee that.
Do you think because you know people from around, but is it a California thing? Or because I've been here for a while and I've never heard anybody mention it.
Hmm.
But and also I've never really heard of it until I went to California. So do you have people in different states that you talk to, or is it a thing or is it just a California thing? I mean, I hope that's not a dumb question, but
No, no, that's a totally legit question mark because California is kind of like a holistic health mecca for sure. And people are much more aware of holistic treatments here than I think other parts of the country and the world, maybe. I know definitely it's not just a California thing. They have it in Canada, they have it in other states. I know a great gal in Minnesota who does it. And basically, I know I've talked to a lot of clients over the years. There's retreats and things you can go to in Thailand and Costa Rica that incorporate colonics into their programs. I know Anthony Robbins, the motivational speaker, he does retreats and he always has colonics involved with that because he knows how transformative it is. So definitely it's around the world. It may come in different formats. Like I've talked to people who've maybe done a retreat in Thailand. I said, oh, it was like a little hut and there was a thing hanging up from the top with water in it. So there's a lot of different systems. That's for sure. Like the system that I use is called the closed system. And it's basically a medical device that's FDA approved. And it makes the whole process really easy. We can control the pressure of the water, which is very gentle. We can control the temperature to body temperature, and it purifies the water. So this is just a really easy, nice situation. And none of the waste or odor is exposed to the air with this system. If, on the other hand, you did the open system, it's something a little different. From what I understand, the therapist is not in the room with you and things are a little bit more out in the open. But I was trained on this system and I've only done this system, so I can only really speak to that. But that's another thing people don't realize when they don't know about colonics. It's everything's very discreet, it's very
Yeah.
clean, it's very sanitary. People sometimes have fear about that too.
When do you start seeing differences? I mean, like I said, I know everybody's body is different, but on a norm, obviously you got to get it more than once. I mean,
Oh
that's like
yeah.
anything. That's like, you got to go to the dentist more than once. You can't just go once and that's it. You're cool. But I mean, it is a way of life. But what do you tell? One thing I liked about you is that you don't pressure people. And that's important to me because there's nothing worse than going to a place where you feel like you're buying a car. They're all like, and you're just like, oh, that. So that's one of the things I liked about you is because you're, so I have this word, easy peasy. You're just sort of like, okay, you're going to do what you're going to do. Let me tell you what I think you should do. And then you tell me what you want to do, kind of thing. And that was good. You kind of, I just liked your way of working. And then also you have such a calm demeanor. So when you walk into your office, you're not like, you're very like apprehensive for sure, but you have this calm energy about you that is really amazing and puts everyone at ease. And I'm sure all your clients will agree with that because I can't imagine you having a frenetic type of energy and doing this type of work because people would be like, So, um, I mean, what do you usually tell people? Like how many times or what's your,
Yeah, I would say for people who've never done it before, I would say don't just do one, like don't even waste your money if you're planning to just do one, because this is a process and you're not going to feel a transformation. It's a bit of a learning process for your body to know how to take a colonic, and that's usually what happens on the first session. Um, excuse me. So, um, yeah, usually I say do three at least if you've never done it before in a short window of time. Yeah, so I generally recommend 3 to 5 for the first timer. If you have no issue, no gut issues, I would say three and then do them close together, like within a 10 or 14-day period. Reason being, the first session is largely about hydration and softening up that harder material that's in there. You'll see some of the newer stuff come out, but it's really on that second and third session where that older material is going to come out. And the body will hold the hydration that this process gives you for about 5 days. So you want to kind of space them apart, no more than 5 days apart if you can. And if you can't do that, just stay hydrated as best as you can. And the second time people come in for their colonic, it's so much less stressful because they know what to expect. They know me, they know they're going to be okay. Their nervous system can let down a bit more and their body can release more as well. So, and then some people that have like a really intense situation, like maybe they've had a surgery and they're taking pain meds and they can't go to the bathroom, and that's really a problem. They might need, 5, 6, 7 sessions to get going. So it just depends on the person, but usually people feel like maybe a little bit of something, a bit of relief after the first one, but it's really the second, third, and beyond, where they get that sense of transformation. And I'll say this too, it's really important to eat the correct nutrition while you're doing it. It basically doubles or triples the benefits. And I give people what to eat, what to avoid, and some tips on how to really maximize this experience.
And the drinking of water and hydrating and yeah.
Yeah, like stay away from stuff like avoid alcohol, sugar,
Yeah.
dairy,
No.
ultra processed foods while you're doing this. Put
Yeah.
in the fruits, the vegetables, like steamed things, super easy to digest. Chew your food really well. That's one of the biggest things I see is I'll see like whole entire mushrooms go by and people are like, why is that happening? I'm like, you are basically scarfing down your food. It didn't get chewed even once, and your stomach doesn't have teeth. It can't break it down. So that's another thing with the stress, how that ties in is people have stress patterns of eating that they've had their whole lives. And you really want to try to chew the food till it's a liquidy, creamy consistency. And that will work a miracle on your digestion if you can do it. It's a hard thing to do.
It's a hard thing to do. I remember seeing a video on that, like how many make sure you chew your food like so many times. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's something me myself need to do as well. All right. Well, I'm gonna get the name of anyone that you know that people should see if they're in, what did you say, Missouri, Minnesota? Missouri?
Minnesota. I know someone in St. Paul, Minnesota. That would be good.
Minnesota. And
Yeah.
also definitely we'll put your information on here because I think, I know you said don't try it once, but you got to try it just to know, just to get the experience of it.
That's
And
true.
yeah, and I would say, one of the things I'm so not, and this is a whole different conversation, is about pills, 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 pills to make you poop, pills to not make you poop, and or liquids or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just think, and I have to believe it's not, like you said, it's not just a California thing, but to try other ways just taking stuff from over the counter because a lot of that stuff over the counter has a lot of shit in it too. I mean,
Yeah.
because that's why you have that instant gratification thing, but this I think is just so healthy, and it is an amazing feeling. I mean, you're like, like I remember walking down the street. This was in your first place, and I just was like, I feel like I'm floating. It was so fact that I still remember it to this day. I'm like, ah. But I tell people all the time that I love colonics. I do, and this is important. And I wanted to talk to you just because, yeah, this I want people to know about this and to know
Yes.
about you, Cindy.
Aw. Well, it's funny, like you're saying, you feel so light and like good after. It's like whenever you take your dog for a walk and they take a big poop, it's like they're jumping for joy. It's the same thing with people.
100% true. And then you have other stuff in your. What was that thing that you stand on? What's
Oh
that?
yeah, the vibration plate. That's another key piece of your health is your lymphatic system, which gets all clogged up. And that vibration plate that you stand on, it shakes you and it gets your lymphatic moving. And the lymphatic drains a lot to the colon. That's why a lot of times I have people do it before their colonic. And it helps the circulation because your lymphatic system is everywhere under your skin and around your organs. And it doesn't have a pump like your heart. So it can really get stagnant. It really depends on your movement, exercise, and this vibration plate helps with that too. So that's another tie-in with the digestion.
Okay, so what? So let's talk about water. Water is just always because you listen. I'm gonna introduce you because I don't know him personally through Instagram to this water guy. His name is Martin, and he's called the Water Sommelier. And it's just so interesting to listen to him. And I believe he's in LA, but it's just all the different info that people tell you about what now you drink this water, now you don't drink this water. Like I was drinking, I was told, oh, you got to drink Kangen water, and it's like, and I was doing that for a while, and then alkaline water, you got to drink alkaline water. So, and then I had a friend that told me about Arrowhead, and I always thought Arrowhead had a weird taste, but then I just started drinking it because so many people were like, "Well, Arrowhead," and I was reading it like Arrowhead was pretty much, without breaking the bank, was the best one to drink. What do you drink? What's going on? What kind of water?
Yeah, right now I'm drinking distilled water and I go back and forth. I also used to do the Kangen water years ago and I only drank like the alkaline 9.5. And for me, that felt amazing for a period of time. But then just intuitively, my body was like, I don't want to drink this super high alkaline water anymore. And so then the clean water on that machine doesn't filter out the fluoride. So I didn't want that in my water. So yeah, I was drinking after that Arrowhead. And then I go with distilled when I'm cleansing, or kind of every other delivery, I do the distilled. And what I like about the distilled is it really makes me feel hydrated. And from what I understand, it's drawing, it will pull toxins and things out of the body and kind of give a little bit of a cleanse. Um, but yeah, literally my
Do you
skin and my,
mix? You go back and forth, you said?
yeah, like for one delivery, like say for January, I'll get all spring waters. And
Yeah.
then
Okay.
February, I'll get all four distilled waters. And, but if I'm like doing a colon cleanse or a liver cleanse, or some other type of cleanse, I try to always do the distilled water because I feel like it's more hydrating and it's supposed to have a property to it that it draws toxins out of your body too. People do say don't drink distilled water because it pulls the minerals out of your body. And then other people say that's a myth. So I don't know. Just like everything else, there's 12 opinions this way and 12 opinions that way. But I can tell you in my body specifically, I do feel more hydrated when I do the distilled, but I don't drink it all the time just in case there is that mineral depletion
Right. Well,
thing.
yeah, yeah. I want to try that. I want to try that for sure. Um,
Yeah, and then
because
you
also,
mentioned something. Oh,
go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, just with when we talked earlier, and you mentioned something about the water sommelier. You said he likes bubbly water, and I was kind of curious about that. If it was because of the CO2, just because this person that I follow, he's very Ray Pete is his name, and he's I believe a PhD biologist, and he talks about something about carbon dioxide being good for the body in certain levels. So I wondered if this guy was of the
He
same
mostly
thinking.
talks about the minerals and
Okay, so he's all
carbonate.
about the minerals.
He's
Got
all
it.
about the minerals, yeah. So that was that, and he goes to he'll like line up bottles, and he'll be like yay nay, and he'll say nay to big because especially like a lot of like the Pepsi companies coming out with Dasani or whatever, well not coming out. This
Yeah.
Dasani water's been out there, but Dasani always tasted really like it had salt in it to me. It tasted like weird,
Yeah,
like
and I
salt
think it
water.
does. I think it
Yeah, it tasted
actually
like
does.
salt.
There's something in that. I noticed that too with that water, and I'm like, I don't like this water.
Yeah. And it's crazy when you go to, when you go to places, movie theaters or whatever, they only have like that kind. So you're just like, oh, um, gosh darn, I have to drink a Diet Coke. But I want you to tell me again about the dry thing, the dry water thing, the
Oh,
because
when I drink
when you're asleep, so you're
oh,
you're
the dry fasting. Yes. I wanted to tell you one more thing. Oh,
oh
about the water I drink. Okay, let me finish that and then I'll talk about
yeah
that.
yeah yeah yeah.
Um, so basically also for me, a huge difference in hydration is the temperature of the water. A lot of people that I notice in my practice drink ice cold water and it does not do their digestion any favors. So you want to drink room temp, or this is something that I learned from this beautiful woman who's this gorgeous model with the most beautiful skin. I used to work with her a long time ago, and I asked her, like, what's your secret with your skin? It's like literally like peaches and cream. And she was in her 40s. And she basically sipped on warm water all day long. She had it in her little thermal coffee cup, and she would just do like 2 or 3 sips every half hour, every hour. And that lady had the most beautiful skin. And you will notice if you sip on warm water, like tea temperature water, not to burn yourself, not that hot, but it hydrates. It goes right to your colon, it hydrates your colon, and it hydrates your skin. It's amazing. So that's like, no matter what kind of water you're drinking, that could be beneficial too, especially if people have digestive issues. So that was that. And then, oh, yes, our bodies can produce our own water. And I've had several clients come in the last year that have done extended dry fasts. And people always freak out when they hear the word dry fast, like, oh my God, you're going to die, no water, no food. But actually, our body's in that state. We are in that state every day of our lives because we're sleeping and we're dry fasting during sleep for 8 to 10 hours, right? So what I've noticed in myself is if I extend that dry fast, like say I go to bed at like 10 at night, I get up at 5 or 6. If I extend that window of dry fasting where I don't drink a water right when I get up, and I do that most days, I'll have a big warm lemon water, but sometimes I'll just let my body dry fast until noon if it feels comfortable. And I notice that if I wake up with dark circles under my eyes, that period of time that's extra that I do the dry fasting, it will really dramatically lighten up. And what I wonder about that is that my body producing its own intrinsic water? And is it somehow hydrating me in a different way? I don't know the answer to that, but I've heard a lot of really interesting experiences that people have had with dry fasting from like sports injuries healing and just different things.
Hmm.
So there is something to that. And I know there's like different types of animals that live in the desert that they almost never have access to water. And their bodies also have that ability to produce their own water. And that's how they survive and that's how they live. That's normal for them.
See, so glad we got this. I wanted to get this. I wanted to get this because I'm like, this is so good, and I'm definitely doing that warm water thing. I have
Yeah.
heard for ages that ice cold water is not good. And that's why even my friends in England drink tea in the summer. It's just water, not scalding hot tea, but proper tea. Yeah, and I try to get my mom to do it, and she's like, "It's too hot to drink tea." No, it's not. The inside of your body is room temp, kind of thing. So yeah, I have heard that for ages. Dude, again, thank you. And also, I wanted to, what fruits are good to eat, like for
Oh,
stuff like
for
that.
digestion,
Besides,
depends
I,
on.
I want to talk about your plums because I also thought about that
Oh,
too. Your plums, that you have and that people can get at your place. Those things, and let me tell you, half of one goes a long way. But
they do. That
yeah.
is a very special thing, those plums. I have not seen anything like that. I think it works so well because it's an actual food. Like it's a literal plum with a pit in it that's fermented for 3 years. So it has tons of probiotics and tons of enzymes. And you basically eat one after a meal and drink a big glass of warm water, which activates the enzymes. And even my toughest cases of constipation will have a bowel movement within 5 to 24 hours. And people who don't have anything going on like that, they can take a half of one, and that's usually pretty effective.
Hmm.
They taste really good. It's just a
Hmm.
basic fruit, and they're amazing. You can use those as a detox. You can do the plum for like a 7-day detox or a 14-day detox, or you can do a longer 30-day detox with them, or you can just keep them in your cupboard in case you're a bit sluggish or if you overdid it with a dinner or traveling or vacation or whatever. So those things are really good. I had somebody who had them in the fridge and she went out to work and her husband thought they were like a Japanese dessert plum. So he ate like 5 of them.
Oh
And
my God.
man, the wife came home and she's like, "Oh," he's like, "How was your day?" And he's like, "Oh, those Japanese dessert plums are so delicious. Had all these ones." And she was like, "Those weren't dessert plums." And that guy got a clean out, let me tell you. You gotta
Oh,
you gotta DIY colonic.
wow. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Five
they're
of them. Oh
amazing
my
and they
God.
help with
Yeah.
your skin because your skin is like a reflection of what's going on in your body. And over time, with these detox plums, aside from just helping your digestion, you will see the quality of the skin improve too. They have a really nice effect on the skin. And I guess the origination of them is Taiwan, from what I hear. And people have known about those for centuries there. And it's just part of, there's a lot of Asian beauty secrets out there. And I think that's one of them.
Yeah. So what other fruits? What fruits? I mean, I when you go to the grocery store, when you look at fruits, do you look at the number on the tag? Do you see if it starts with a 4, 3? Yeah, okay.
Yes,
So
you
I'm
know
not the
about
only dork
that.
that does that.
And I always forget the numbers. Is 9 organic and 4 is conventional?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
That-
always try to get organic for sure. And I always try to see what looks the best in season. Like recently, I've started going to the farmers markets again, which I had gotten away from. And I'm telling you, the fruit is so much fresher there. It's
oh yeah.
crazy compared to the supermarkets. And right now, what's been really good, actually, they just went out of season a bit, is these little organic mandarin oranges were off the charts, sweet and juicy. And then I've been buying some apples from this one vendor that are really good. Um, did I lose you there? I got a call coming in. Anyway, so I have the apples, the little oranges, sometimes strawberries. Like right now, they're starting to come into season. I've been doing that, and I like grapes, but I usually don't see those at the farmer's market. But basically, if you're trying to hydrate or you're doing
Yeah.
colonics in the summer, I love watermelon, like as much as you can eat.
Yeah.
Grapes, berries when they're in season. Actually, I just got the most incredible blueberries at the Mar Vista Farmers Market that were just looked like they were just picked and they were so sweet, not acidic at all. So love
Really?
the berries. I
Yeah.
also buy frozen blueberries from Costco, which I put in my smoothies. I really like that too, the organic
Yeah.
ones.
Bananas? Are you a banana person?
Yes, every day I have a green smoothie with I put a banana and frozen blueberries in it, and
Okay.
I put my green powder in there and I grind that up. And bananas are a great grab and go. I always have a stack of them on my table for my daughter. She likes to eat healthy and just grab a banana and stuff like that. So that but like bananas a lot too.
What is your cheat thing? What do you cheat on?
Oh my God, I have a new cheat thing. I have a new cheat thing. Um, I found the most incredible gelato place in Marina del Rey. It's called Bacio de Latte or something like that. And my daughter wanted to go on Sunday, and I said yes, and we went. It is off the charts, the most delicious, incredible gelato I have ever had. I follow that up with a nice espresso coffee because on Sundays I cheat from my Lenten thing. And it was literally like I'm dreaming of it. I'm planning it. I wrote in my calendar that that's for my birthday. I want a breakfast of that gelato and an espresso.
What flavor did you get? What'd you get?
What did I get? Oh my God, what flavor did I get? I got this coffee caramel flavor.
Oh
It
man.
was
Oh man. Well,
so
gelato is hands down better than ice cream for
I
sure.
didn't
I
know
mean,
that. I was a
yeah.
diehard ice cream like for a treat.
Oh.
And this gelato is handmade every single day, fresh.
Oh
And it's
wow.
made with organic milk, which I think sets it above the others as well.
See, this wasn't hard, right? This was good. This
You
was
make it very
easy.
easy. You're very easy to talk to.
This is easy. Hey, I love like I said, I love it so much, and I miss you, but I also miss your practice more. No, I also like how you make
Oh.
me feel, Cindy. All right, so that's pretty much it. I mean, like I said,
Cool.
unless you want to show us your singing technique, you know. Come on, Dave
Maybe on
Matthews.
the next
I
one.
don't know one Dave Matthews song, but you know. All right, we're gonna start. You're drinking water like you should. I'm drinking coffee.
Yeah, I wish I was drinking coffee. I gave it up for Lent, but I'm drinking water as I should.
Mhm. You know what? I gave up eggs because
Did you?
I want to stop eating eggs and not that I eat well, I do eat a lot of it, but I just yeah, I don't know. It's pretty gross if I think about it. So but anyway, that's what I gave up. I
That's
should have
actually
given up
good because eggs actually, I just learned that even some of the like really good brands of eggs that are like pasture raised, they're super, super high in omega-6, which if you have too much of it, it's very inflammatory. And this like very expensive eggs that I've been buying recently got called out for that because they feed the chickens soy and corn. So it's like you might as well be drinking a thing of canola oil in some instances.
oh
So
yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
actually I found a brand recently at the farmer's market that they don't feed them with the corn and soy, and they're so good.
Oh, you can tell me off the thing so we don't plug them. I mean, unless they're going to start
Right,
sending you
right.
free eggs.